Good day, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Today's webinar is about artificial intelligence and certification and also the workforce development, especially as we all know, AI is evolving and it is coming. And you might have seen the news for the last few weeks. After we have done last webinar, there was a big news, a lot of hiring process was going on between Microsoft and OpenAI and all. But that's a kind of change which is bringing, to be honest with you. And that's what we wanted to make sure the workforce, whether you are a professional or whether you are interested in changing your career or something else you are starting, that's fine. But just to give an idea, before I start further, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ganga Battula. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Institute of Technology. We are based in Virginia. We are State Council of Higher Education certified school like any other community college, but we are not, kind of college kind of scenario where we provide degree or master's kind of programs and things like that. Our focus is mainly certification. So I trained and certified thousands of individuals who came to our doors. I have two campuses. One campus is in Richmond, Virginia, and another campus in Chantilly, Northern Virginia, just next to Washington, D.C. Area. So we have done this, and people who do not have enough time to, or money to go to schools for 4-year degree or 2-year degree. So this is where the certification part of it is going to help them for really getting the required certification and credentials. So that's what we are in. So I am with Dr. Beju. He's having extensive experience in artificial intelligence, to say that 30 plus years. So that means when AI was evolving in the network and with the neural networks and other things, he's the one who started the career. And I will let him introduce himself so that we can talk.
Yeah, as Ganga was saying, I have more than 3 decades of experience in AI. Yeah, back in 1990s, definitely neural nets were still evolving. And then, early 2000s, certainly we started improving the size of these neural net models and prediction and everything. That's when really machine learning kind of kicked into high gear, right? And then now, as Ganga was saying, AI is everywhere, right? I mean, you've heard about in the news these days, the top headlines are about AI, whether it's hiring, whether it's capabilities. Personally, I have, my focus has always been on solving problems, building AI systems, and that's what we're going to focus on. How do we build AI systems? And when we get to some of the slides, we'll clearly differentiate the edge the builders will have, and that's what you're going to learn in these certification courses.
Yep. So before further ado, I wanted to get this kind of agenda here and make sure that we are on the kind of, what we're trying to, give you as part of this webinar. So first thing we are going to talk about is understand what is AI and why does AI matter now? I mean, as Beju said, everybody, including politicians, are talking about it. And I'm sure you guys know, even President Biden came out with an executive order of AI, and NIST is just following up with that, the executive order to set up certain, actions in place. That is happening within weeks. Just I'm talking about, 5-10 weeks here. That's what is happening. So that's why we are going to address that, and also explore the industry trends, like what's happening in the emerging job roles in AI, and also what kind of career paths are the certification paths you have in artificial intelligence. That's what we're going to talk. And also, we wanted to provide a clarity on vendor neutral, because most of the big, gamers are there, what I can say, like Google, big one, IBM, big one, Microsoft, you all know, they're embedding everything into Copilot and things like that, and it's happening. But the core skill, if you wanted to be a real builder in artificial intelligence, it is not the social media, it is not the buzz, rather how you build it. That's what the difference we wanted to get with these career paths. Present an end-to-end kind of approach in a way that you will be part of the learning and also practicing, and also how you implement with a real practicum or project kind of scenario. That's what it is. unless until I do, I cannot perform.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to hire us, or we are not going to be innovative unless until we build the computers, we build the systems. So that's what it is. In case of AI, obviously it is software, but software is driven with the data sets. If there is no data, there is no AI. So you need to understand those building blocks. That's what we are going to cover. And also prepare individuals for a career change or building a new career in AI. Because most of you may be already having some kind of IT experience or new to the IT process. That's fine. Come on in. Let's start with the fundamentals. And we go all the way to the responsible AI so that you understand the legal aspects of it. That's what it is. So it is not something, and at the end, we wanted to give you a flavor of how AI really works, a demo kind of scenario, so that, we really understand what it is. So by saying, let me give it to Beju, he's going to talk about what is AI and how it is going to change the world, what's happening in the world of AI space.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, AI is changing the world, right? But at the core of it, what is AI, right? AI is essentially artificial intelligence. It is, making the machines mimic what we humans do smartly, right? That's what it is. Predominantly, it's done using computers, right? But it can be elsewhere too. It can be in robots. It can be in self-driving cars. It can be anywhere, right? So it's essentially mimicking or simulating our, human intelligence, right? And it has certainly, it has, as we were saying earlier, certainly it has permeated almost every process in the industry, every vertical in the industry, because it is, it is increasing the efficiencies of various industry domains, right? As I said, in simple terms, it is, as Ganga was saying, AI needs data. We supply human experience as data to the AI systems or AI models which reside on the computers, right? We don't need to tell these, computers and AI systems anything. They can actually read the data, process the data, understand the patterns, and start making decisions for us, right? We just have to configure in certain ways. So that's the power of AI. That's why, everybody has seen ChatGPT. Kimberly was talking about the LLMs, right? The ChatGPT. There's certainly a risk. That's what she was talking about. We will cover how to manage that risk so that we can actually continue innovating with AI, right? Why does it matter, right? If you look at any survey, whether it's McKinsey or any other group doing the survey, every group is putting out numbers which are really, really high in terms of what AI can add value to the economy, right? This particular study indicated that there's $16 trillion addition to the global economy. It's happening everywhere. Healthcare is the largest GDP segment, at least in the US right now, in terms of GDP. It's the largest industry segment. Healthcare uses AI a lot. Again, there is risk. What happens if AI system makes a mistake? Who is liable for it? Is it the physician or is it the system, right? Things like that. There are a lot of details you as a AI expert need to understand, or AI builder, or AI owner. You need to understand whatever your setting is, whether it's whichever industry it is, whatever company it is. But at the end of the day, if we can use AI, we can manage its risk, then there are huge benefits, right? $16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. That's in 7 years. But that's not a joke, right? So that's a big number. We talked about risk. Risk is always there. Liability is always there. Legal aspects are always there. But there are also ethical and societal considerations. Right? We want to use AI in such a manner that our society benefits at large, not just in terms of dollars, but also in terms of equity, fairness, responsibility, right? So we want to make sure that our innovation is very responsible, not like what happened with the technology innovations like social media. is kind of out of control right now, right? We want to prevent that going forward for AI. How can we put those safeguards, not just the legal safeguards, but also educating the people on ethical aspects, right? Making sure that the AI outcomes are societally superior, right? So if you look at Gartner does an IT symposium every October, right? And they come up with Gartner is a technology research company. They come up with technology trends, for example. Right? Well, obviously AI is the trend these days. So they focus their research on AI and found out that 77% are actually using AI, but only 23% are building AI, right? So building is where you want to be. If you want to derive real value from AI, if you want to kind of ride on that monetization, 16 trillion we talked about, you really want to know how to build these systems. You and your teams want to know how to build these AI systems so that you can get a piece of that pie, right? Obviously, that means workforce training we talked about. For individuals, that means how do we future-proof our careers, right? Competitive advantage, definitely, because that's where many CEOs are investing in generative AI, and that's where the jobs are. And for the foreseeable future. Again, generative AI is one type of AI. There are other types of AI. We'll talk about that, certainly. If you know how to build AI systems, obviously, you can support innovations through your careers at multiple corporations, right? Or, at whatever corporation you are. But again, the last point, last but not least, is it's a continuous learning. AI is evolving so rapidly, even technology-wise also, right? You need to make sure that you're on top of it, right? We have some number of courses here. We will be continuously updating. But the message we want to kind of give you today is that become an AI builder, or at least understand how AI systems get built so that you can manage them better, not just a consumer or user. Because if you're just a consumer or user, you're paying for it. That's fine if you have money, but you don't have really good control on it, right? If you don't understand how these systems are built, you don't understand what's the risk associated with that. Kimberly was talking about that. You don't understand, how you can train your workforce, as Kevin and Betty were talking about, right? So it's really important to understand how these systems get built so that you appreciate them.
Yeah. So as Baiju said, our focus is not users part of it. Users are always there. Anybody can use the system once it is developed. Our focus is building it. That's 23%. Like 80-20 principle. 80% of people use it, but 20% is what they build. That's what we are most interested in. So we wanted to give it the difference between the builder and the user in a way that what's happening in AI, I'm sure you understand. This is most wanted AI skills in 2023 and 24. I'm sure 23 is ending now. We are into December kind of scenario now, but this is the most required skill. Emerging skills. Again, I'm talking about the building community. This is where AI modeling and also prompt engineering. It's very, very important. ChatGPT, as Baiju mentioned, is one of the applications of AI. There's a lot of medical applications. There are a lot of research and development applications. There are a lot of engineering applications, believe it or not, everything, including space innovation and things like that are happening. That's where the modeling part of it comes. The prompt engineering will help you to be a better, output gainer, especially when you give a proper prompt to the ChatGPT, for example, what you expect, you are going to get it. That's what is the prompt engineering. Then interfacing and also interaction designers, that means the APIs. It's called GPTs now. So the so-called APIs, what we used to call, is no longer applicable. It is going to be, everything is generative, transformer, kind of
nice user interface.
Yeah, a nice user interface. Content creation. If you are not that tech savvy and if you wanted to know the technology but be a content creator, yes, you can be a better content creator. When I say content, it is not limited to text anymore. Not only limited to text, but limited to audio, video, three-dimensional, whatever you wanted to build. For example, if you go to the engineering, AutoCAD, you build it, you enhance it, and you see, put the people on top of the building and see how the load balance and other things are going to happen. One of the engineering example I can give you is the wind or the forecasting activities, because of the weather changes, what's happening, sometimes the speed of the, atmospheric air goes 75 to 100 miles an hour. Whether your, certain construction is going to sustain or not, that's where this AI simulation is going to work. Okay, that's most important thing. Data curators and also trainers. Trainers are also having very, very important. I'll show you one of the slide again from the World Forum. All this data is from the World Forum and other reputed organizations like Gartner. So how the importance of the workforce development is there for the future next 3 to 4 years, 5 years. That's what it is. As Beju mentioned, we need to understand with respect to governance and also some of the aspects of ethics, because this technology is so powerful, and I'm sure even the congressmen and senators called all these big CEOs of these CTOs of these companies and asked them, what is going to happen, because it's you are building another knowledgeable person like a human being. You got to know what you're doing, right? That's where the ethics part of it's going to come. So that's a builder community, what I'm talking. That means that's where we develop the workforce. We wanted to make sure that people are skillful, so that the user community, what I'm going to talk, is going to help the community in a way that you will transform the workplace and also benefit with higher productivity and GDP growth. Because end of the day, if ChatGPT is working, if I have to send an email, just write text with a concept, you're getting a perfect email address to everybody, or a letter, something like that. There may be some, tweaks and other things you have to do.
Right.
And same scenario, you have to apply for AutoCAD and other things. Just imagine what a lot of use cases. Also, the jobs are going to be changing. A lot of jobs are going to be not there. I can show you the World Forum slides in next couple of slides, how things are changing. Again, people have to be skillful to learn these things. So this is where, as per the Economic Forum 2023, I think 3-4 months back, the World Economic Forum has released, this white paper saying how it is going to impact the jobs. AI changes 25% of all the jobs in next 5 years. That means 1 in 4 has to work directly or indirectly in AI. And another good part you have to understand is 44% of the workforce needs upskilling or reskilling. Otherwise, 1 in 2 people have to be upskilled. So the mantra here is skills first approach has to come. Otherwise, it is not going to be sustainable in the economy. And AI and people skills will be the new workplace currency. So if company has to talk, or an organization or enterprise has to do certain things, it is AI combined with the people skills. That's what it is. Again, certain cases we may be limited, we may not be in a position to do certain tasks because the AI is so powerful, it can give the results at a faster pace. That's where my next slide is going to talk. Talking about, again, cost of production has to be reduced, because we wanted to increase the productivity. The same job 10 people are doing now can be done by 1 person. That's where the cost of production is going to be reduced. I'm talking about even in IT space. We don't need multiple people to do tasks. Rather, AI is doing in a way that you may need just verification of it.
Yeah.
And another part of it is it enables the better user experience. We have seen the world of, internet, iPhone, cloud computing. This is the next generation of technology change, which is artificial intelligence, which is really challenging human brain in a way on certain tasks. Believe it or not, it's happening. So obviously, it is going to reduce the roles of existing jobs and other things. And also, if you are skillful, it is going to give opportunities for you to learn and then better at certain aspects of using artificial intelligence. And another important thing is there is an immense diversity and inclusive opportunities are going to come. The internet combined with artificial intelligence, people across the nation can be part of the workforce that nobody has imagined or seen right now. So they can learn, they can apply skillful. Most of the cases in cities like Washington DC and New York and all, people who live in urban areas used to take advantage of this computer training and other things, and then really, get skilled and then grab those opportunities. That is not going to be limited anywhere anytime soon. It is mostly diversified, and anybody can be part of this game-changing aspect. So, and if you see what has happened so far for the last 2023 is these top guns have hired most of the AI data scientists and people like that. And one good thing is AI is also coming to the mid-sized companies and also small companies now. So you're not talking like Microsoft, Nvidia, Alphabet is a Google, as you know, IBM and all hiring, Amazon. But the most of the hiring is going to take place in mid-sized companies as well. So this is where you do not want to take any chance, right? Rather, you want it to be part of the game changer by taking advantage of these skills, what you need to learn and then apply and then or change career if required or adopt AI technology into your career. That's what it is. So what kind of approach we are taking? What is that we're trying to do? As I said, vendor neutral approach is we are not affiliated with the Google or Microsoft or IBM. Rather, our programs simply start with the fundamentals. As I said, there is no data, there is no AI. That's what AI fundamentals is. And then we wanted to talk about the data also, data analytics and also knowledge management. How do you format the data so that it is useful? Again, data does not mean, unfortunately, only the character-based text or the numbers, but even the audio, video also comes in. So it's very important that we need to understand the dimensions of this data. It is not just, work out to the world way we used to do. Machine learning and also deep learning is very, very important. You need to understand how certain neural networks, other aspects of it is going to work. That's what we're going to talk about, AI, deep learning, and generative AI. Obviously, anything is it possible to mimic your development and replace certain usual tasks of human being? This is where the generative AI comes into play. That means like whatever people are doing now can be done by machines. And if I'm smart enough, how do I use the machines in a way that, I'm more productive? In fact, we are going to show you one of the example with Manu, how AI is being used in LinkedIn, and same machine you can use for refining your resume. As simple as that. So you are applying a machine to configure your resume so that you are being attracted. Your resume is being attracted across the LinkedIn world of if people are looking for certain skills. And last but not least, we also wanted to address the responsible AI part of it. So that is understanding the ethics part of it, understanding legal and also other aspects of AI. Again, with respect to each government is coming up with certain regulations and other things, we wanted to make sure that those things are understood by the people, where we can test the boundaries and what is limited and what is not, limited kind of scenario. So those are the part of all these vendor neutral certifications. So I wanted to give a clear path of career also. As I said, if you are high school graduate, that's enough. You don't need anything. Okay. AI fundamentals is the one that's a basic start. And then we go to the deep data processing. That means like you need to understand the fundamentals of data, formulation of data, and how that data can be utilized. As I mentioned, I'm repeating again, without data, there is no AI. You're modeling, you're taking advantage of that. Then number 3 is obviously the deep learning. That means, how you combine certain AI aspects of it and using the OpenAI, concepts and things like that, and using certain applications which are already available, how you can do the deep learning. And then goes to the generative AI part. That means how you can mimic certain tasks of activities human being can done, those can be replaced so that machine can do. As simple as that in a layman term. But if you go to other aspects of enterprise, there are numerous applications. Even in sales and marketing, there are a lot of things people are doing can be automated. And the last one, as I mentioned, is about the responsible AI, so that we are within the framework of rules and regulations and what we can do and how we can do and all those things. End of the day, we wanted to give industry recognized certifications. As I mentioned, we are State Council of Higher Education certified school for the last 10 years. We do all these certification programs, and you also get the digital badge so that your certification is carried across the nation, across the globe if required. So all the digital the recognition of your certification is kept in the database for verification. So that's how the program goes. Okay. The program is about proctored exams. So there is an ID verification, and also the exam will be delivered remotely or in person from the testing center. That's what it is. Kevin, you wanted to ask now or later?
I'd like to ask now if I can, sir. You say that your program is certified. Who certified your credential program? There's some programs that are NCCA certified. Some of them are ANSI certified. Some of them are ISO certified. Who's the third party entity that is certified that your training programs for a credential meet industry's requirements?
Certainly, Kevin, I fully understand that question. Let me answer. First, we're registered with the State Council of Higher Education, all these certification programs as a curriculum. That's number 1. We're getting into ANSI now, and so that we are standardizing this process. So we're in the path of doing that. That's what it is. So,
all right. All right.
Go ahead.
No, I understand, and the reason I ask that is that certain entities that are out there, particular government entities, will not necessarily pay for something that you call a certification if it doesn't have that third party good housekeeping seal of approval that says, that certification has gotten together with industry. Industry has codified what the terminal learning objectives and the knowledge, skills, and abilities are that industry expects. With that certification, you bring to work on day one when you've got that piece of paper in your hand that says, I've got that AI credential.
Absolutely.
So I've been very sensitized to that after being responsible for all the logistics training in the Army and a lot of the training that I do now for ProTrain and the various types of funding sources, that if you don't have that third party good housekeeping seal of approval, they will not pay for that training.
Understand.
That's why I asked,
that's
a very cogent question for who's going to want to pay to get this training.
Absolutely. I understand. I know what you're asking also. That's where we're going for ANSI and also ISO and other, including the NIST registration and all those things, National Institute of Science and Technology. We're registering our programs. It's in the process. It's evolving, right? As you can see.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Nothing with those entities goes fast. I clearly understand, but I have an appreciation for where you're trying to take it. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. Thanks for asking.
This is Kimberly. Can I add just something small to that? The training that I participated in, hosted by a global organization, was IAPP. Anyone can look it up. It is a certified reputable organization that is ISO. However, because the certification trainings globally are so new, the process, and you probably already know this, Mr. Smith, the process is taking a lot longer than anticipated because there are so many different organizations that are attempting to pursue certifications and get that stamp of approval so that their certifications are valid nationally and globally. So I am aware that is taking some time. And even this organization, as large as they are, they still do not actually have an exam that they can offer. They're only able to offer trainings at this time.
Absolutely. I think you brought a good point. I think, Kimberly, appreciate that. Yes, not many organizations in AI certification, they are not able to even conduct the proctored exam because they do not have, that, end-to-end in the scenario.
Yeah.
And the problem there is, without examination, this ANSI or ISO just cannot certify. That's where we have introduced this end-to-end kind of scenario. Most of the companies, as you said, that the international company, global company, they can only give you a completion certification. That does not mean anything. You can attend the webinar, I can give you a completion certification. It doesn't carry any weightage. And Kevin is right. That's what we need to work on. We are getting it. But first thing is getting, this certification process in a way that it is not only just training, but also doing assessment and giving the score so that they have individual who has passed that exam or failed that exam and things like so that
we do that right now. I mean, we have an exam.
This is Betty Gardner. There's a big difference in the word certification and certificate.
All these things are, certificate. That means not the completion certificate, the certification. So that means you are certified to have a certain skills per day. That's what it is.
Believe me, I've been in education since 1995. There are courses, certificate programs, and certification programs. Believe me, I understand. And I think you all know me very well.
Yeah. I know you. Not a problem. We'll address that.
But I think, as Kimberly said, it is a very, very new field, right? So all the certifications are kind of taking time, right, by these agencies. But what we have done here is we have brought in our expertise in AI. And if you look at course curriculum, you'll see that it's a very thorough, comprehensive content, right? On top of that, what we have done is we have actually created an exam. So we are not just simply saying this person is actually getting the certification or completed the course. We are saying this person actually possesses the skills because the person took the exam and passed, met the threshold, right? That's very important. So since the external supervision or external review is taking longer, we have actually supplemented our own rigor into the process.
Yeah, and we are also qualifying that with the ANSI and also ISO, so that we can, it's a long process a little bit, but I think, I'm sure we will get there.
And I congratulate you on that journey because believe me, becoming a nationally accredited school and now going through Title IV process, it's been a very long journey, and I applaud you for beginning this process because I do believe that this series of programs, if we can get it to where it is ANSI or ISO, et cetera, I think it will be kudos to you all. I really do.
Thanks, Betty. That's what we're trying to do. I'm sure we'll be there. So I'm also in the, I did training and certification programs. I fully understand some of the CompTIA certifications and also understand, Cisco, Microsoft and all those certifications. But yes, I fully respect, what you're talking. Okay. So just to give a modality of the process, how and what we do instructor-led in-class training and also same training like this. We can also do online. So you get same experience, you can see the same video, you can monitor the instructor, and also you can have the labs and also, some of the projects online also. That's what we do. And as Beju mentioned, it's a comprehensive exercises related to what course content we are covering and also the related labs. Without labs, as I said, there are courses, I'm sure Kimberly might have attended. It's all talking about maybe one chapter or two chapter of it, but end of the day, you can't see, you cannot put hands on that, so that you cannot really take advantage of that what you have learned. IT world, what I believe, because for the last 30 years, Beju is also there. Unless until you do something, you practice something,
You get a feel for it. You don't get.
Without that, it's very hard, especially in this. And in other areas also same thing true. And we wanted to make sure that somebody is prepared for the exam quizzes and also practice questions also we provide. And we wanted to make sure that the exam is fully proctored online or in person with the certification, digital badge and all those things. So nowadays, I'm sure everybody knows about the digital badge which can be carried. So that's the process we're following. I know there are some questions which have been asked related to this, but I just wanted to make sure that we cover this. So what is that approach we're taking? Because it's a workforce development, right? It's not, I'm not putting people into, a undergraduate or graduate program. There's no way connected like that. I don't want people to spend, like my kids, go to big university called, GMU or VCU and spend, 200K or something like that, have a mortgage out of school. That's not our intention here. We want it to be very economical and to the point. And the technologies are coming up like that. You see, imagine, things have changed a lot, You can have same experience, coming here or sitting there, you are understanding what we are trying to teach you or learn, today. But that's what it is. So the first thing we do is we do some kind of pre-assessment in a way that, somebody is really interested in learning this subject. Number two, the training. That means credentialing-based training. That means we are trying to put you in a way that you are understanding the concept, you are practicing, and you are doing some lab activities in a way that you know how that works. It is not just trying and doing some prompts in ChatGPT. Rather, you are trying to see how ChatGPT can react if you change certain things behind the scenes. As simple as that. So you are not a user. That's the difference I wanted to be, making very clear for anyone here that you have to build it. Then only you understand. There are a lot of things out there. You don't have to be, holistic, kind of, everything kind of thing in the AI, because if you do something today, tomorrow it is going to be changed. But the fundamentals are not going to change. To build the wall, you need bricks and mortar, no matter whatever it is. That's how it is. So we wanted to be part of that, and we wanted you to be certified at the end of the day that you are an industry recognized certified individual. So we have few accreditations and also approvals and other things as a Global Institute of Technology, Virginia State approved workforce training provider, as a VIOVA partner. We are also authorized Oracle workforce development partner. We have a lot of affiliations with Microsoft, Amazon, and also Cisco and CompTIA authorized partner as well. We do Pearson VUE authorized testing center and also Prometric and all those things. Also nationally recognized NCTA certified testing organization as well. So I just wanted to make sure that we have classes coming up on January 9th. It's a 1-month program. It's 40 hours of training and 40 hours of lab practice. And you can go to this link and then apply for that. Or if you wanted, fundamental tasks, just apply now. Enroll without any problem. There are some financial aids and other things are available. When I say aid, financial payment options. So that instead of paying at a time, you can pay monthly and things like that. So, but also, you can contact us if you have any questions or any demos, things like that, you can do that, but that's what it is. So these are some of the professional affiliations we have. State Council of Higher Education Certified School for the last 10 years, as I said, we're also National Institute for Cybersecurity, recognized education institution providing nice certifications, CompTIA authorized partners. Now I want Beju to cover some of the real world applications of AI. So we'll talk with respect to healthcare and other aspects of it, and we'll go from there, and then we'll have demo and Q&A session.
Thanks, Gagan. I mean, this is probably most of you already know because, you are all AI enthusiasts, right? And, you read the news in every day. But let me kind of, summarize. Let's take healthcare, for example. Healthcare, the clinical decision support based on medical images, right? Be it radiology or even the other branches like gastroenterology. That's AI is growing rapidly there, right? Again, there's a lot of work to be done. So if you're a builder, there is definitely a career there in healthcare AI, right? I mean, it's just starting there, right? We all know Netflix, Amazon and Netflix, they have recommendation engines. That's AI essentially, right? So AI is shaping every experience, even in the entertainment. In retail, ChatGPT kind of revolutionized what we can do with chatbots, right? I mean, it has some issues like hallucinations and everything, but every new technology has issues, right? So we need to kind of refine the ChatGPT, fine tune it, and use it in ChatGPT's inventory management. Generative AI is one aspect, but there's also AI. I think of AI as 4 categories. Generative AI is one category. Optimization is another category, right? Inventory management, inventory optimization. Prediction is another category. Then cognition is the last category, right? Prediction is your forecasting, demand or things like that. You're forecasting what a person wants, right? Next best recommendation, kind of, right? Next best action. And then the cognition is essentially computer vision and speech processing, all that kind of category. Retail uses all these 4 different categories, right? Transportation, self-driving cars, that's predicting what is going to happen, predicting what is in front of you, and taking, the appropriate corrective action or staying on the course. Traffic prediction, that's a simple prediction problem, not as complicated as self-driving, but the state's departments of transportation do predict traffic and make big decisions based on that. So AI is essentially everywhere. I showed some sample industries here, but it's essentially in every industry, and there are many industries, right? So.
Yeah. So I start with a small demo, like with Manu. So he's going to show you how the LinkedIn, the keywords can be searched, and based on your profile, you can build that. Manu, do you want to take the control? Victoria?
Yeah, sure. Hi, welcome everyone to demo. I'm going to share a couple of things. So, a lot of us are probably in the career search. We see this screen a lot. Maybe when we're searching for a job, we're thinking about a career transition, or we're just interested in reading a lot of things about AI. I'm sure many of you maybe even found this webinar through AI. But, common search, maybe you're interested in seeing what it's like to be an AI engineer. And, I've gone through the job search process many times, and the reality is that, most of us are filtered out quite easily by bots, right? So hiring companies, hiring managers, and recruitment companies, if you're looking for a job, it's actually not that easy. And here you can look at, for example, some of the salaries that's a good salary. Honestly, something really solid. And the types of skills that are required, I'm not going to go through and look at them, although you should take the time to review these types of things to see what types of skills are relevant. But what I did is that I actually built a quick little bot using generative AI to kind of even the playing field because I thought, hey, why should just the hiring team get to use bots? Why can't I also use something that helps level the playing field? So here's what I did. I'm going to copy this job description of whatever job that I find, and using the skills that I learned in generative AI, I was able to use OpenAI's programmatic interface. Now, the programmatic interface or API, for those of you who know what that means, application programming interface, is something that allows us to be able to call directly things to ChatGPT, but also allows us a lot more levers to pull in order to be able to get things to work exactly the way we want in a more programmatic way, right? So I've run this, and I can begin to do things like, for example, take this job description. Here I have an older one that I had earlier. So let me just paste in the job description that you just saw me pull directly on here. They're looking for a skilled software engineer, an AI engineer, right? So I'll put in my job role, I'm going to put in AI engineer. And what I do is I provide a series of prompts, not just one prompt, and it's not exactly the same type of thing that you would do in a UI. Although being able to get better at prompting in the UI is helpful for all of us getting situated with AI. So we're going to have that it basically take these line items that are in the job description and actually expand those things because I always found that sometimes I have this challenge of everyone has to do this really manual work of taking a job description, aligning it to my experience, and thinking through that. But what if I could have a digital assistant, a type of secretary that could help accelerate that process for me and even help me think about things that maybe I had forgotten about and help me prime my resume and make it easier to customize. And as a bonus, I'll throw in an automatic cover letter generator, right? So we're going to run this now, and basically what it's going to do, and you'll see there's some pieces of code here. So this is part of learning how these AI systems work. And what I have it do is that I'm telling the AI that, hey, you're a veteran career coach and resume writer who supports tech professionals, yada, yada, yada. I have a whole thing. But what happens is that basically for each line item that was in the job description, I have it expand those things. So the job description talked about design, development, and integration of cutting edge machine learning techniques. And what this does is it helps me first, as a first step, remember there's a multi-step process, as a first step, expand each of those things, right? So it tells me, someone that they're required for that role, what types of things does that require? And that actually is really good because not only is that going to be helpful for me to be able to refactor my resume, but it also tells me what is what's between the lines, right? It helps me expand those things that are between the lines with what they actually want. All right. So, and it actually, I have it automatically pull out the relevant technologies that they want me to be abreast in. And a lot of these are actually things that are covered in the AI certification program. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our AI to basically generate some example professional resume bullets. I have it go through and these are example quantitative metrics. Of course, whatever generative AI generates, ethically, you should make sure that it actually aligns with real work experience you have, but it can give you inspiration, especially if you're like me and you forgot all of the different things that you've maybe done in your roles, or you want to think about these things. But this could work for any job description, right? So it comes up with a couple of different ideas, and you can see resulting in a 30% improvement, 25% improvement, increase in knowledge sharing, right? So it at 40% reduction in development time. So it's actually able to come up with real types of example bullets. It's able to suggest the types of technologies that I should make sure to have in my resume. And then finally, I actually give it my example resume. And what I'm going to have it do is that I'm going to have it go through now. It's going to actually act as even a deeper level expert. And one of the things that's different here is that we're actually setting what's called a system method. So this is kind of setting instructions behind the scenes that you can really do well with a programmatic understanding, right? What we talked about before, the difference between just using AI, chatting with AI that many of us are used to doing now, versus actually being able to programmatically do this, right? So it tells me, thanks you for providing your resume and job description. And it talks about the key responsibilities, the key qualification. Now, this is the really exciting stuff, right? This is what I get fired up about. It says your experience at XYZ company involved training and technical proficiency. This experience looks good. To align your resume more closely, include a skills section that does XYZ. Tailor your experience section to highlight areas that closely match the key responsibilities. Highlight certain mentorship experiences, add a project section. So it's going to take my resume and actually provide a more detailed thing. And then finally, it's actually going to allow me to even refactor my resume. Remember, some of these bullets that are in there are generated by AI. So you have to make sure to review the resume overall. But I can tell you, it makes the process, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn just recently, and it makes the whole process much easier to be able to actually tailor your resume and generate a high quality output. And then finally, let's see, what is this company? Thunkable. I'm just going to change this part to make a cover letter, and we'll make now a cover letter that basically takes all of the information above, including my resume, my skills, and the types of responsibilities, the things that they're looking for. For me, one of the most, although even though I love writing, I don't love writing cover letters, right? So there you go. We have a cover letter generated, and I've tried to do this before in using ChatGPT and OpenAI's API, but honestly, it's not as exciting as being able to, really interact with something. For those of us who are builders, being able to actually build something that adapts in an organic way, where with minimal input, I just have to press enter, enter, enter. And I'm going to make a batch script soon so that this all runs automatically with just 2 copy paste, so even less than 10 keystrokes. And there you go. You have an updated resume, right? That updated actually some of the things that that they're looking for, and of course I have to modify it, but it gives me a really, really good starting point. So Ganga, do you have time for another quick image one, or
That should be
we have
fine.
another demo by
It's already 6:30. Let Beju give one data related demo so that we can talk.
So, what Manu talked about is kind of generative AI unstructured data, right? So among the 4 categories, there is also the forecasting application I talked about, right? Prediction. So here I have a data set, Boston housing data set. These are old home values, so the home prices are on the lower side. But whenever you have a data set, if you're an AI engineer or ML engineer, the first thing you want to do is you want to understand the data, right? I'm going to skip the exploration of the data, but you want to understand the data. What do you have? Here I have like crime rate, proportion of residents, proportion of essentially large lots, right? In that area, proportion of non-retail space, non-retail business acres per town, all those things which affect the home values, right? And so you can explore the data. You can see how the different, what is the range of the crime rates across different areas, etc. I'm going to skip that in the interest of time. But after you explore the data, you actually want to process the data, right? You may want to drop some observations. You may want to drop some columns, attributes, right? Again, I'm going to skip all that in the interest of time, but I'm going to get to the meat of it, where I want to predict the home values, right? It's a regression problem. If you attend the class, we'll talk about the details of regression, classification, all that's different types of machine learning models. But whenever you have, the variables which are like price or continuously varying variables, it's called regression problem, right? And instead of using a statistical model, I want to use a more sophisticated machine learning model, right? I want to train it on 70% of the data and then test it on remaining 30% of data, because that's how you kind of get the model quality, right? You want to evaluate the AI model, machine learning model, on the data it has not seen before, right? And you can see that the blue dots here are the actuals and the red are predictions. And you can see that each dot here is a home, right? You can see that typically the predictions are following the actual values reasonably well, but there are some cases, homes, where we are not doing in terms of prediction that well. There are always outliers in the data, right? Otherwise, you're overfitting the AI or machine learning to the data, which is not a good thing. You want to generalize the AI, right? That's how your predictions will be more accurate, right? But the important thing is, there are some things which you don't get in other AI training courses. Things like, how can I explain my prediction? Well, anybody can do a good prediction, but how can I explain my prediction, right? So here I have taken one of the home values, which is 23,600, and my AI predicted it to be $23,500, right? But the thing is, this home is worth $500 more than an average home, which is $23,000. So why is it home worth a little bit more than average home? So here you have a waterfall chart which explains that, right? Which is essentially this home is located in an area which is, which has a lot of posh people, right? The percent lower status population is low in that area. That's adding $890. It's in a good school district area. That's adding $660 to the home value. Crime rate is low. That's adding $420 to the home value. It's closer to the employment center, so on, right? On the other hand, this home is actually a smaller home. Had it been a little larger home, it would have been worth even more, as much more as $1,720, right? So if you remember one of Ganga's slides, he was talking about user interface. How you explain your AI to others matter a lot. If you're a good AI builder, you always have that at the top of your mind. I know my AI, I can build good AI, but how can I explain it to people? And that's what we kind of demonstrated here. That's what you'll be learning in the course. I mean, consistently you'll be learning that in the course, right? So
Thank you, Beju.
okay.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Appreciate everyone attending
Good night.
this webinar. Good night.